A new survey reveals teenagers are spending almost 8.5 hours a day on screens, with stress playing a significant role. Over half of those surveyed admit to using their devices to cope or procrastinate, fueling growing feelings of discomfort and frustration. The biggest culprit? Their smartphones, eating up nearly 3.5 hours of that time. The television, on the other hand, far from the teen screen of choice. Now, it captured on average just 89 minutes. Stress plays a major role in this situation. Over half of people admit to using their screens as a way to cope or, more simply, to procrastinate. Whether they're spending too much time on their devices or none at all, feelings of discomfort and frustration are widespread. It turns out that not all screen time is wasted. Research shows that education ranks as the top activity, surpassing even entertainment and social media. Everyday tasks like shopping and managing healthcare are also becoming more virtual, with each activity taking up about an hour a day for many people. Now, despite the countless distractions vying for their attention, most teens feel they are in control. 64% believe their screen time is just right, while only 28% consider it excessive. Parents, however, have a slightly different perspective. Over 40% believe their teenagers spend too much time on their devices. Interestingly, both teens and parents living in more affluent areas are more likely to view their screen time as excessive.
What we're seeing is a more sedentary teenager who is probably being protected more from healthy risks. It is more important for us to step up and be present, aware, involved, having some uncomfortable conversations with our child to understand what they are doing.
Allowing teenagers to spend excessive time on screens can significantly harm their well-being. Research reveals that prolonged screen time, especially on social media, is closely linked to increased feelings of isolation and disconnection. Alexandra Anand with this report.
It's startling how quickly time slips away when you're caught in an endless stream of content. There's even a term for it: doom scrolling. 17-year-old Audrey knows this all too well. She spends 6 to 7 hours a day plugged in, with most of that time dedicated to schoolwork. But like many teenagers, one screen is rarely enough.
When I'm at home, I'm unwinding, I use my iPad, my laptop, the TV, my phone. Sometimes I can have multiple devices running at the same time. So maybe on the TV, I can have Netflix, on my phone, TikTok, and on my laptop, maybe YouTube video running. It brings me adrenaline, it brings me energy.
But that rush of excitement comes at a price. The thrill of being constantly connected on social media can quickly turn into a sense of isolation, leaving some feeling more alone than ever.
I can scroll on TikTok for maybe 1 or 2 hours, and then after that I just feel kind of guilty about it. Not everything you see is quite authentic. You can feel bad about yourself when you see certain people, they have everything they could possibly want, but you don't.
With the rise of algorithms, one psychologist warns the overwhelming flood of information could have far-reaching consequences, not just for a teenager's well-being, but for their cognitive development as well.
When they get to about 12 to 13, their brain undergoes changes whereby all of the pathways that they were building as generalists start to undergo this process called pruning, and they become specialists. We can only pay attention to one thing at a time, properly, adequately. And the nature of having lots of devices means that we're not actually paying attention to one thing.
With more research suggesting a strong link between screen time and cognitive development, more countries are taking steps to ensure young people are protected. A new national health strategy recently outlined healthier digital habits for those under 12, like not using their devices during meals or before going to bed. But controlling how teenagers use their devices is tricky. Some parents, like Audrey's father, believe a more calibrated approach is necessary.
As a parent of these children, I believe that is always try to balancing. All the technology actually is come with the two sides, positive and negative. As long that we pass on the knowledge to our young generation or teen generation, what is bad, what is good, I believe they know how to control themselves.
For Audrey, setting screen time limits was just the beginning. She even enlisted her mother to set the password, making it harder to bypass the limits. That way, when it's time to disconnect, she can more easily reconnect with others, and most importantly, with herself.